Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is 21st of April and it's still a bank holiday in Denmark. It is Easter Monday, but there are some markets that are open, so I thought I will have a go at it a little bit late. Sorry about that, but again, it's a bank holiday. This is an educational video only. There's no recommendation whatsoever intended during this. So let's get cracking and let's look at some of the markets that actually open. S&P 500 will be open today. US market open. European markets are not open, at least not most of them. The S&P 500 was almost unchanged Friday, but here pre-market, as we can see, it is actually trading currently 1.3% lower, and I believe it will push lower in the coming days. We have negative sentiment on the RSI. No divergence, indicating that we could see lower levels, so it looks quite heavy at the moment. We also have a dead cross here. The 55 moved below the 200 moving average, and the 100 coming down here, so it looks quite heavy at the moment. The Nasdaq 100, also a dead cross there. That's the cash index here. Closed more or less unchanged last week, not Friday, it was Thursday. But here pre-market 1.4% down. We can also see dead cross here where the 55 have crossed below the 200, where they're both declining, and it seems like we are pushing lower in the coming days and weeks. Negative sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating we could see lower levels. It's not a guarantee we will. Dow Jones last week was beaten 1.3% on Thursday, and it seems to be continuing. Here pre-market, it's about down 1.25%, and we can remove this one. It's really obsolete now, and it seems to be pushing lower. I would add this Fibonacci retracement here. That didn't work. Let's just add another one. I can always remove the last one. There we are. Here we are. And we have taken back about 50% of the bounce, and I think we will take back more. So let's see about that. European markets closed today, so we will go straight to the FX and the euro dollar that has pushed above resistance at 114.80, and next destination is around 117, it seems. And if we zoom out, we can see where it actually comes from. Just zoom out. It is this area here up here that was used to be a support after it was broken. So 117, possibly higher. We could push higher, and there is a little bit of resistance in this region here, which is also around the 161.8 retracement, just around 119. So really strong push at the moment in euro dollar. RSI pointing to higher levels, no divergence, indicating higher levels on euro dollar. Cable sterling dollar has reached the 138.2 projection of this correction here, and is pushing higher, probably taking out the 134.35 spike up here. And if it does that, well, then we can also kind of estimate where we could push to, and it seems like we could push to in the region around just maybe 140. There will be some resistance on the way, obviously, and we can take this one. It's not useful anymore. There will be some resistance in this area around this consolidation at this market over here back in 2022. So 137.5 is could be next destination, but there will be some stops on the way, of course, also here at the 161.8 on short term, at 135.15. Euro sterling bouncing also, trying to get back above the minor resistance here, and I think we can see it push up to 61.8 at least in the coming days. If it takes out 85.19 here, then the uptrend has been put on hold, and a larger correction is ongoing. Yen pairs, and especially dollar yen on the move, pushing lower. Next stop, or next support is 140.25. That is the strong support here. If it takes it out, and if it moves below 139.50, which is that spike down there, then I think we'll be looking at 137. Strong support here, where we also have the 200 weekly moving average coming up, adding to the support strength. But it is quite heavy at the moment. We do have a little bit of support here at 138. But I don't think that is the strongest one. And it's going to be interesting. Will it take out this declining line here, falling trend line here? It's not the strongest one, to be honest, but it's just interesting. It actually moved above this. But if it takes it out, that could accelerate the sell-off. Euro yen still in this range here, 164 and a bit, and 158.35. So not much to talk about really. But the moving average is starting to turn around here and maybe giving a little bit of support, but then we have the 200 coming down, dragging the other way. So still in a bit of a limbo. The Aussie yen also sideways, can't make up its mind. And we're going to look at the Aussie dollar in a minute, which is going higher, but Aussie yen could turn around. That's why I added Fibonacci to this. It could turn around. Negative sentiment on the RSI and no divergence, indicating Aussie yen is to push lower in the coming days and weeks, and there will be some support here at 88 and a quarter in this region here. There will be some support. Excuse me. Sterling yen also can't make up its mind, but I think it will eventually push lower. Negative sentiment on the RSI and no divergence, indicating we are likely to see lower levels, but there is some strong support, as you can see on the weekly, 183.75 is some strong support, but we could revisit that level. Aussie dollar, as I mentioned, I alluded to, broken higher, pushing higher, and I think we could see a push up to 65.5, 65.70, which is 138.2 projection of this correction here. But we have some stronger resistance up here in this region, and let's just zoom in. We have a little bit around here, but I think it will push towards 65.70. But the 200 daily moving average will give it a little bit of put a little bit of a lid on it there, so there will be some resistance, and we could see a little bit of setback. But as we see here, if we close above 63.90, the RSI on daily will close above 60 threshold, meaning we are back in a positive sentiment, indicating higher levels. Dollar Canada pushing lower, and next support 137.5 in that region there, but we could drop all the way down to 136.5, where we have some stronger support, and also the rising trend line will add a little bit, and we have the 100 weekly moving average here also coming up, but I think we'll there is potential down to that region here. The sterling Canada is actually moving higher, and could push up to 186, which is the 786 retracement of this correction here. All moving averages are rising, indicating likely higher levels. Now we just need the RSI back above 60 threshold. That will further add to the bullish picture on sterling Canada. Euro Swiss, well, not much to say. Can't really make up its mind. Should it bounce up to 93.77, which is a 38.2 retracement. Maybe even a little bit higher to the moving averages here, around 94.25, or should I push lower? RSI is indicating lower levels, but for now it's still trying to find out which way to go. I think eventually it will push lower, given that we have the moving average coming down there. Also on the weekly they're pushing lower, but we have some strong support in this region around just above 92. Dollar Swiss has, after a little bit of sideways trading, resumed downtrend, and as we have talked about so many times, we are now back in this range here, where the market traded back in 2015 when the Swiss National Bank removed the ceiling or the floor, depending on which way you're looking, and we could see dollar Swiss push lower towards 80 level with 161.8 projection of this correction move here. I think that is likely to totally demolish and reverse this bearish move, push above 86. No, so 82.70 is required. The dollar index also pushing lower, so we can remove this one. There was not much of a correction. And looking at the weekly, well, 97.45 is the next support level. It's not the strongest one, but we are getting close to, and I think we could actually reach it today and even push lower. You can see negative sentiment on the RSI, and the divergence is about to, it actually has been demolished or cancelled, so we are indicating for lower levels, same on the weekly, so it really looks quite heavy. I will actually add a little bit of trend line there, or support line, 96, 94, so in this region we could see a bounce, but it's quite heavy at the moment, no question about it. Gold pushing higher, and it actually reached more than 200% of this correction here. So where to? So did we actually touch? Not yet. 3,400, very close to pushing higher. Canceling, very close to canceling the divergence here. Let's see if we can see that. It's not there yet, but very close to, I think. And what is the reading here? It is 82 almost. And back there it was very close to canceling the divergence. But if we look at the monthly chart, we can actually see where we have the next line or next target, 3,427, which is 178.6 projection of this what do you call it, the cup with the handle. And I think this is actually incorrect. I need to adjust this a little bit. It should be 176.4. There we go. So we're very close to 3,000. It didn't change. Let's see. Let's try again. Here we are. There we are. And there we go. So 3,400 and a bit. And I think we'll reach that. And we could actually push higher. So we could also put in 200% of that. And see that could be the next target, also 200% of the carbon handle. That's really unusual to see that, 3,645. So let's see if we're gonna get up there. But for now, really strong trend indeed. The silver is really lacking. It's just stepping sideways here, and you see just below the resistance here at 34.5. Just below the 786 retracement. We need the RSI to get back above 60 threshold if we want higher silver prices. But if it slides back below 32, then we could be looking at 31. Copper is starting slowly to bounce and to push higher. Well, it has bounced, but continuing to bounce above the cloud. RSI still negative sentiment, but I think we could see copper push up to around 433, 436. Crude oil still in a bouncing mode. I did expect it to come move up to here WTI up to 65.20, 65.73. Can still do it, but it seems like it's starting to lose steam really, and we are still in a bearish trend. So if it starts pushing, turning around, and let's just add this one, and if it takes out 60.45. Then downtrend has resumed. More or less the same picture on Brent Crude. Obviously, we can add that little support there, say, okay, 63.79. If it takes out that, then downtrend has resumed. And negative sentiment, no divergence, indicating that will occur, is likely to occur after this correction has been completed. The European gas is closed today, so let's just push on to the US nat gas, lower today and still potential down to around $3. The US 10-year Treasury yield, sorry, that's the wrong one there. The US Treasury yield is in indecisive mode. If it moves back below 424, downtrend is likely to resume. If it can close back above the cloud there, then we could see higher levels. On the 2-year, well, the 2-year is it can't really make up its mind, but it's also sliding lower. It seems it could resume downtrend if RSI closes back below 40 threshold. Well, then downtrend is likely to resume. The European yields It's not trading today, but last week it actually closed below the 247. So we are in a continuing the bearish trend here. Could push to 237, 235 on the EU 10-year. Also UK seems to be sliding lower. Let's see here at 454. It is a little bit of a surprise that Bitcoin actually pushing higher today, given that it usually trading with the stock market. The stock market seems to move lower, but strong push here to 88,800. It seems it could test that. If it takes out that, well, then we're looking at levels above 90,000, and there's potential up to 95. If it doesn't get rejected and a little bit of a setback. Ethereum also trying to push higher towards 1755 and maybe 2100. All right, that's a short one today. Bigger one again tomorrow. Have a nice day and talk to you again.